Hello everyone and welcome to another Digimon Ghost Game Quick Thoughts video. This time I'm going to be going over the latest episode of Digimon Ghost Game, which is episode 29, Monster Pollen. Now obviously before I get into it, and I should do this every week, I will be obviously fully spoiling this episode. So if you haven't watched it already, definitely give it a watch before you watch this video, before I review it, because I don't want to spoil this episode and the official Digimon Ghost Game and Digimon Twitter accounts actually spoil this episode for me, because what they do is they post screenshots basically revealing everything, any debuts of anything, onto Twitter as soon as the episode's aired in Japan, which is not good for us who are not living in Japan, who wait for the Crunchyroll release, which is about 3 or 4 hours later. So I got spoiled for this episode, but I still really enjoyed the episode, so that's good. So if you haven't watched this episode, go do that now, and then you can watch this episode. Or watch this video, rather. But anyway, so just jumping into a quick recap before I give my thoughts. So this episode has Kiyoshiro shopping while mysterious fog surrounds the centre. This fog appears to be making people breathe fire and making people pass out, and it doesn't look too good. We also have the case of spiders that are attacking and, I guess, killing people. The episode kind of shows that this is a really bad thing to happen, it is poison, but at the end of the episode we don't get to know what happens to everyone else who was attacked by these spiders. So it turns out that these spiders are Kodokugumon. I don't know why, it's like a tongue twister for that name every time. But anyway, Kiyoshiro immediately recognises Dokugumon as the other spider from the Arukenimon episode, which is honestly a nice touch, but we have Jellymon saying, no, this is just the baby form, this is the child form, this is Code Dokugumon. So that was kind of handy for the show to point that out, even though I already knew, but it is nice that the show addresses that. So Kiyoshiro tries to help a lost child, but he ends up getting bitten himself, and then he finds the culprit of the poison to be Tropiumon, who is another newish Digimon. This Digimon was for the Vital Bracelet and for the Digimon Pendulum Z Wave 2, the Wind Guardians one, and I think we also saw it in one episode in Adventure Colon, but it is still one of my favourite-ish characters, especially on one of the new designs. So Kiyoshiro nearly dies, but he's determined to keep fighting because he says that's what the others would do too. TeslaJellymon then evolves to Thetismon and beats Tropiumon, but is also able to take a sample of the poison to make an antidote to heal Kiyoshiro. I really wish that they kind of said, and I'll help everyone else in the shopping centre, but honestly, knowing Jellymon, she doesn't care. I would be surprised if she helps the other people, so I guess they just died. So then Tropiumon explains that he was just lost from his friends and uses the pollen to kind of signal for his friends to come find him. We then get a moment of Evangelion where we have all these Tropiumon circling above, and it's very, the Eva series, it's been completed, and we just have to do an Evangelion reference all the time apparently, or at least my brain does. So Tropiumon also we kind of learned that just was really annoyed about the Kodokugumon attacking him, and I mispronounced that again, yes, I cannot say those, apparently those syllables, cannot say them. So, yeah, was not evil, just kind of annoyed, but also wanting to find the friends, kind of stressed out. But anyway, that's the synopsis. So in terms of my thoughts, so straight away, I love to see the Digimon that we got in this episode. Not only did we get Tropiumon and Dokugumon, we also got Herismon, which is really great to see that we've got Herismon, who was the main character's Digimon in Digimon Rearise, which just shut down back in April, so 2 months ago now. It's really nice to see Herismon. I was really surprised by this. This wasn't spoiled to me. The thing that was spoiled to me was Thetismon, which I would be more excited to see Thetismon if I hadn't been already knowing that it was coming, thanks Twitter, but I think I'd rather be spoiled on Thetismon rather than Herismon, because I was really surprised and just incredibly happy to see Herismon in this. It made my day in such a weird way, even though he was kind of just there to exist, and I feel like he was more there as fan service rather than there to do any real things in the plot. I don't care. I'm just happy to see Herismon. It was also great to see TeslaJellymon and all new Digimon appearing as cool. This episode basically just had new Digimon. And the thing I love about Code Dakugumon, there we are, almost said that perfectly that time, is that it is a Digimon that looks like it could have been around forever since Dakugamon's actual debut at the start of the franchise. But this Digimon, no, it only showed up last year. It only was revealed to be a Digimon, and it's really nice to see all these new Digimon, especially with how well they fit in with other Digimon as well, with the older Digimon, though. This episode basically just had new Digimon. I think the oldest Digimon in this episode was Harrismon, which is also fairly new Digimon, only a few years old. So it's really great to see the new Digimon. Thetismon is cool. The evolution moment was really cool. I thought that Kyoshiro was really cool and just is a great character in general. And the episode had fantastic, great pacing. A lot of episodes in Ghost Game don't have such great pacing, and it's more or less because it's kind of confined to a 20-minute episode. And I always say it's a Ghost Game problem of, they spend so long on the lead up and the build up and the investigation that when they actually get time to the actual, this is the monster, this is the mon of the week, this is what we have to fight, they only have a few minutes. This episode, it kind of always had the threat. The threat happened straight away, and there was not too much investigating, but I still really enjoyed the episode, and it had some pretty great pacing. However, I do actually have some bad points from this episode, but they're fairly minor and nitpicky. So, as I mentioned before, it would have been nice to know if everyone survived. It appeared to be quite fatal poisoning. Kyoshiro almost died himself and was saved by the fact that Thetismon took a sample of the poison to make an antidote. However, we don't know the fate of the rest of everyone else, though that one is extremely nitpicky. The next point is TeslaJellymon's reasoning feels kind of like a bit of an over-exaggeration. Yeah, he was annoyed about the spiders, so that's kind of why he was attacking, and the Poland was because he wanted to find his friends, but why was he attacking Kyoshiro and Jellymon? I feel like that wasn't really... It didn't feel like that was a decent or reasonable enough explanation for being the Mon of the Week. But he was fine, I guess. So those are my thoughts for episode 29. I really liked it. It was probably one of my favourite episodes. It was a really good episode, but it does still have those small nitpicky flaws. But I think that they're small enough that I can overlook them and still give this episode like a pretty high score. And yeah, it's definitely one of my favourites. I love Kyoshiro, I love Jellymon, I love Thetismon, I love all the Digimon that appeared. I love Harrismon. I marked out, I popped for Harrismon. I did not expect to see Harrismon, and I got Harrismon, so pretty happy about that, pretty pleased. So overall, I love this episode. Did you like this episode? Let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to hear and listen to and read everyone else's comments on this episode because I really liked it and I want to hear what other people have to say too. I'm looking forward to doing the podcast tonight because I get to hear Quinn and Chloe's thoughts about it. So definitely stay tuned for that. I hope they liked it as much as I do and I can be validated in my opinions of loving this episode. But in any case, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if you also were pretty hyped to see Harrismon or just because you want to like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I do lots of videos, various videos about Digimon and Ghost Game and virtual pets and everything. So definitely check out my other videos and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, I'll see you on the next one. Bye!